I'm Patricia Robb, coordinator of Rhode Island Transit Riders, formerly called RIPTA Riders. We're an independent grassroots organization devoted to preserving, expanding, and improving public transportation in Rhode Island. We oppose the recently proposed multi-hub transit plan unveiled by the state for a number of reasons, which we would like to share with you today. First, to make sure everyone understands what the RIDOT plan has in mind, they plan to dig a tunnel underneath Kennedy Plaza so the traffic on Washington Street will be diverted underground, with pedestrian bridges linking the two sides of the plaza into one large urban park. Kennedy Plaza would no longer be a central bus hub. Instead, bus lines would be diverted to 3 or 4 nearby so-called hubs. At the Providence Station, the Dairy Judicial Complex, somewhere between Washington and Exchange Terrace, and a 4th site near Rhode Island Hospital. Some lines would stop at one hub, some would stop at another, and passengers would have to transfer between hubs in order to continue their journeys. 5 years ago, we worked hard to ensure the passage of Question 6 on the state ballot, to approve $35 million in bonds to fund enhancements and renovations to mass transit hub infrastructure throughout Rhode Island, particularly at the Providence train station and the Pawtucket hub. We celebrated when the proposal passed. Now we find this money will be used by RIDOT to tear up Kennedy Plaza and disperse passengers far and wide, not to improve access for passengers as we had anticipated. This is a misuse of the funds. Others will talk in more detail about the inconvenience and unnecessary expense that a multi-hub proposal would cause. I would like to bring your attention to one part of the proposal that is virtually dead on arrival. DOT plans to dig a tunnel or an underpass under Kennedy Plaza to hide the buses and make it possible for those walking in the plaza to move across without crossing a busy street. The tunnel proposal is ludicrous. One does not build a tunnel in a central plaza of a major city by simply using a Sharpie to draw a line on a map. This would be an expensive and difficult project, digging below sea level and through spongy, wet soil that is laden with over 100 years' worth of electric, gas, steam, phone, and sewer conduits. Being below sea level, the tunnel will not drain by itself and will need pumps to remain dry. It will cost millions that are supposed to be spent on transportation improvements for the mere sake of making it easier to walk from Kennedy Plaza to Burnside Park. In addition, the tunnel approach aprons would create dead zones more than 100 feet long on either side of the tunnel where Washington Street cannot be crossed, and the construction and inevitable delays would disrupt downtown yet again. And this is about the 3rd time that Kennedy Plaza would have been dug up in the last few years. All of this to unify Kennedy Plaza. The strangest part about this is there is already a plan to achieve these goals that has been carefully thought out and has received extensive public input, unlike the current harebrained scheme. Last year, the City of Providence completed a plan that unified the northern half of the plaza from the post office to the Biltmore, eliminating the through street behind us. It left Washington Park, or Washington Street, at ground level and retained the central bus hub at Kennedy Plaza. Rhode Island Transit Riders supported that plan with a couple of modifications. We do not support the current multi-hub and tunnel High Street.